Your Miami Dolphins improved to 2-0 after a weird win over the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. Final score was 24-17, but quickly getting into these stats, we'll start out with the winning team. Tua Tagovailoa, 21 for 30, 249 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had a good game. It wasn't anything special. On the ground, Raheem Mostert, who was probably the MVP for the Dolphins today, 18 carries, 121 yards, and 2 touchdowns, including a 43-yard house call. Salvon Ahmed, 3 for 13. He got injured in like the third quarter, or actually no, second quarter, late second quarter, and he didn't return. Devon Achane played a little bit, 1 for 5. In the receiving game, Jalen Waddle stepped up, 4 receptions for 86 yards. Tyreek Hill was really slowed down today, 5 receptions for 40 yards, but he still got his touchdown. Craycraft, 2 for 34. Barrios, 2 for 28. Salvon Ahmed out of the backfield, 3 for 28. And then Smythe was 3 for 23. And on the Patriots side, Mac Jones, 31 for 42, 231 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. He threw the ball 10 more times than Tua did, or even more than 10 times, and he still ended up with less yards. So that just tells you everything you need to know about this Patriots offense. On the ground, Ramondre Stevenson, 15 for 50 with the touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott, 5 for 13. I'll get more into that in a bit because I have something to talk about with their rushing game. In the receiving game for them, though, Devontae Parker, familiar name for the Dolphins, of course, 6 receptions for 57 yards. Hunter Henry, 6 for 52 and a touchdown. Jasicki, 5 for 33, another familiar name. Kendrick Bourne, 4 for 29. Juju Smith-Schuster, 5 for 28. Man, I don't really know where to start with this game. I guess we'll start with the offense. Yeah, we'll go with that. Tua Tagovailoa, like I said, he had a good game. It wasn't anything special. Nothing like the Chargers game from last week where he threw for 460-something yards and 4 touchdowns? No, was it 3, I think. But yeah, man, he threw that interception. It was underthrown. Like, there's no way to sugarcoat that. That ball was completely underthrown. Tyreek Hill had to fully stop and even come back a little bit for it. And when you have a guy like Tyreek Hill versus a guy like Christian Gonzalez one-on-one, Christian Gonzalez actually dropped in the draft, but he's a very physical corner out of Oregon. And a 50-50 ball with him usually whole win every time, especially when you have a 6', 5'11" guy like Tyreek Hill on him. So that's honestly fully on Tua. There's no way, like I said, to sugarcoat it. That ball's completely underthrown. That's on Tua. But it was a punt by Tua basically. So either way though, he played good. Now they didn't really, like I said, it wasn't like the Chargers game. We didn't really see any downfield throws. Like I said, we saw that deep ball to Tyreek that was intercepted. We had a 30-something yard gain to Jalen Waddle, which was a pretty big play. But other than that, nothing much. We had a big play, I think, that went for 25 yards or so. That was on a screen to Jalen Waddle. That went into his yards. But moving on with the receiving game, like I said, the Tyreek Hill is really slowed down today. Only 40 yards on the ground, but he did get his touchdown. Jalen Waddle stepped up 86 yards. But overall, the Patriots defense did play well. You know, we still put up our points with 24 of them, 3 touchdowns on the day. But it was the run game, and I'll get into that now. The Patriots are best set up in their defensive scheme for the outside run, which is what the Dolphins usually go to. That's why a lot of people thought that it was a pretty good matchup for the Patriots defense, considering that they're playing the Dolphins offense, which loves to run the ball to the outside. We know that that's McDaniel's go-to play, so they switched it up. They ran the ball inside a lot, and that's where Raheem Mostert found most of his success. We did find some success on the outside because, you know, with these blockers and with Raheem Mostert and with Tua, this offense is capable of a lot of things, but when they ran the ball inside, they were successful. Raheem Mostert, like I said, he ran for 121 yards or so, 2 touchdowns on the day, including that 43-yard run, which was right up the middle, untouched, basically to the end zone, which was great. He just outran everyone. Raheem Mostert had a huge day. Jeff Wilson will be back for Week 5, only 2 more games without him versus the Giants. And Devon Achane, he played a little bit because Salvon Ahmed got injured. He left early with that groin injury. He didn't return. We'll see if he plays next week. He should be able to play. Another injury was Jalen Waddle, who, you know, I'll talk about the refs in a bit because that was a big part of this game too. A shot to the head, which was a personal foul, and he was evaluated for concussion. Tyreek Hill was asked about him though, and then he looked to Waddle, and he smiled at him. He's like, yeah, he's good. So I do expect him to play in the home opener versus Denver next week. I really hope he does because, of course, I'll be there. And I want to see a fully healthy team. I know that no Ramsey. We'll see about Armstead. Armstead didn't play today. Speaking of Armstead, we'll talk about the offensive line now, man. Tua was sacked today. He was sacked. He was sacked once for the first time this season, which was not great to say that he was sacked, but it's great to say that he was sacked only for the first time this year. So through 8 quarters, he's only been sacked once. Kendall Lamb, again, with another great game. Austin Jackson got beat on that one sack it was a great spin move by Matt Judon. He's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, so there's, I was expecting him to get sacked at least once, and it happened today, so whatever. Austin Jackson overall played so good today against Matt Judon. Overall, in the first half, he kept him in a box, and then that continued to the second half. But yeah, man, the O-line's looking really good, blocking-wise. Now I want to get into Connor Williams for a second before we transition to the defense. Connor Williams, someone has to do something. Butch Berry as that offensive line coach, they have to hire a center specialist for snapping the ball. They have to do something about it, because one of these games, Connor Williams is going to snap the ball over the head of Tua. The defense is going to pick it up and run it in for a touchdown. It's going to be the reason why we lose one of these games. And it wasn't anything like that today, but there's multiple bad snaps. Now, one of them was on Tua. The one where it was 3rd down and 1, that was on Tua, I'm pretty sure. I didn't really get a closer look into it, but it looked like it was on him. It looks like he just didn't, the transition from Connor Williams to Tua just wasn't smooth. And then that backed them up to 4th and 3. We had to punt the ball, and that, made it way more nerve-wracking than it had to be. The Dolphins only won this game by 7 points, man. And it honestly was really weird, because it seemed like the Dolphins dominated this whole game, which they did. But it just didn't really show that in the scoreboard. The Dolphins either scored or they went 3 and out. That's basically just how this game went, other than that blocked kick, which Jason Sanders tried to kick, and it was, this guy named Schooler with this crazy scheme where he ran through the side and then somehow showed up and blocked the kick. That's not on Jason Sanders, but then he missed the kick after that would have gave the Dolphins a 10-point lead and basically canceled out the Patriots' possibility of tying the game on that last drive, which was crazy with the whole Mike Gesicki lateral. But getting into this defense really quickly, also right now I'll just mention that, of course, the deep dive is coming tomorrow after whatever. This game is just basically, this video is just a rant about this whole game. More organized video will be coming tomorrow, though. The defense played well. They finally slowed down the run game, which is all we were asking for, basically. Ramondre Stevenson only with 50 rushing yards. Ezekiel Elliott only with 13 or so. The D-line played well. The front 7 for the Dolphins pressured Mac Jones 20 times today, and 4 of those 20 pressures turned into sacks. I think 1 sack for Chubb, 1 sack for Andrew Van Ginkel, 1 sack for David Long, and 1 sack for Zach Sealer, maybe? I don't know. I'm forgetting that last guy. But these are the guys I want to throw out for the game today. Bradley Chubb, who really showed up today. Jalen Phillips, who missed the game today. I said in the preview that if I had to bet, he would play, but he didn't end up playing, which sucks. Chubb stepped up after that. In the first quarter, he had that the fumble, the strip sack. It wasn't the strip sack. It was a forced fumble that was recovered by Deshaun Elliott. He's another guy I want to throw out there. He had a great game today too. But Chubb really showed up in the pass rush. Andrew Van Ginkel showed up, man. That's what I love to see. Andrew Van Ginkel had a great game today. They may just keep him at that edge position instead of trying to move him to middle linebacker. Might as well have Jerome Baker and David Long just keep those position spots, because Andrew Van Ginkel looked really, really good getting after the quarterback. Zach Sealer, Christian Wilkins, those guys had a great game in the run game. Of course, like I said, they slowed it down a lot. Xavier Howard came up with an interception, a great 1v1 with Devontae Parker. It wasn't a good throw by Mac Jones, but it was a great play by Xavier Howard to come up with it. Javon Holland had a great game. His highlight play of the game was coming up with that tackle for loss on Ramondre Stevenson on that 3rd and 1 that backed them up 3 or 4 yards and made them punt. And then Deshaun Elliott, like I said, he had a great game as well. But yeah, man, talking about this game for a sec, like I said, the Dolphins, it seemed like they dominated, but really they only won the game by 7 points. The Patriots just barely missed out on that 4th and 4. Great tackle by Justin Bethel to keep Mike Gesicki away from that first down mark. But, okay, I'll get back to that in a sec. and then he flips it to Cole Strange, the offensive guard, and he. I mean, Patriots fans have been complaining that it's a first down. It clearly wasn't. At first, I thought it wasn't a first down, and then I saw the ref said it was a first down, and I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And of course, it's reviewable because it's a fourth down play, and they overturned it eventually. But what a mess that was. And getting into these refs, Justin Bethel clearly held Mike Gesicki for 3 whole seconds, and the play was not blown dead. There was another play where Jalen Waddle was hit in the head with the personal foul, and then they threw a flag, and then they picked it up before, like, they didn't even stop the clock. They just literally picked it up, and they didn't even discuss it at all. There's another play with Devon Achane on his very first, or maybe it was the second career carry for him. He got hit in the head, and they didn't call, or yeah, they threw flag, they discussed it, and then they picked the flag up, even though it was clear helmet to helmet. The refs were a mess today, man. And honestly, there was some calls that were against the Patriots that were wrong. But of course, we don't complain about those. But overall, the refs weren't good today. I'm hoping the refs are better next week versus the Broncos. But it wasn't the prettiest game today. But of course, that's what matters, is that the Dolphins just got the win. It's weird. The Dolphins offense basically, I don't want to say carried. I hate saying the term carried. But, the Dolphins offense basically got them the win for them in week 1, and then it was kind of the defense who did it here. The offense is going to put up their points. We have one of the best offenses in the NFL, but the defense really showed up today. And I wouldn't actually say that the defense won us I wouldn't say that the defense won us the game today, but they showed out, and they probably played like the better side of the ball to me. Now, I know it's Mac Jones, and we're playing against, Ramondre Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott as opposed to Austin Eckler. But still, you know what I mean? Like still, we ended up getting the win in Gillette Stadium. Those are 2 huge road games that we just won. We're starting out 2-0. Only 2-0 team in the AFC East. We're one of the only undefeated teams in the AFC. I want to say Baltimore's undefeated. And I guess technically the Browns are, but they play the Steelers tomorrow, or technically today, because it's 12:30 in the morning. We'll see how that game goes, though. I hope the Steelers win that game so that the Browns... If you know how I feel about the Browns and Deshaun Watson, but yeah, man, huge game from the Dolphins. They end up getting the win, improving to 2-0. Patriots dropped down to 0-2 for the first time since 2001. Of course, the deep dive will be coming tomorrow, but at the end of the day, the Dolphins got the win. No matter how it went, we won. We're 2-0. There's a lot to be feeling good about. The Marlins swept the Braves this weekend. The Hurricanes won Thursday night. They're ranked number 20 in the AP poll. A lot to feel good about South Florida sports right now. Either way, that'll wrap up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace.